Welcome to the Overcommitted Podcast, your weekly dose of real engineering conversations. I'm your host this week, Brittany, and myself and some other engineers met on a team at GitHub and realized we're all obsessed with getting better at what we do. We decided to start this podcast to share what we've learned, and we'll be talking about everything from leveling up your technical skills to navigating your professional development, all with the goal of creating a community where engineers can learn and connect. Today on Overcommitted, we are joined by Sterling Chin, and I am so excited. Sterling is the founding developer relations hire at Inngest, a durable execution platform for AI and backend workflows. He previously served as senior developer advocate and engineering manager at Postman, where he led the labs team. Sterling created Marvin, which I use literally every single day, an open source AI chief of staff built on Claude Code that manages email, calendar, Jira, and daily workflows, and has racked up almost 1,000 GitHub stars. He came into tech through a coding bootcamp after studying elementary education at BYU and has given many conference talks on AI agents and developer tooling. He's also a dad, a Star Trek loyalist, and someone who built his son a homework tracking app in 2 hours using structured AI assisted development. Welcome, Sterling.
Thank you so much. I hope I can live up to that introduction. I feel like that's, it's accurate, but it's all like looking back, it's like, no, I'm just a guy who loves to build stuff.
I love it. I'm sure we'll get into like where to follow you in the
Yep.
future, but we met last year on the Web Dev Challenge, and I've been following excitedly, seeing all of your updates since then about everything you're up to, and it's awesome.
Thanks. I
Cool.
mean, it was so much fun. Like the Web Dev Challenge was a blast, and one of the things that I like, Jason has built something amazing. And I mean, if it wasn't for Jason and the Web Dev Challenge, I wouldn't have met you and wouldn't have been introduced to a lot of, amazing other developers around the world. So thank you, Jason, if you watch this.
Yeah, absolutely. Always shout outs to Jason, and I'll make sure the episode is linked as well. To kick us off, before we get into it, what is something you are currently building or obsessed with learning right now?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, currently I'm still building Marvin. Marvin, I've, so we talked before the show started. I've continued to get, a lot of people are still using him. Marvin is a personal AI assistant that lives on top of a Cloud Code harness. It provides gives you long-term structured context and persistent memory. And so for me, I use Marvin. He runs 90% of my day, and I've got so many skills, agents, sub agents, and everything. But as I've started to see more usage and people are starting to use him more, I'm currently building a Marvin for Teams that is where Marvin, if you're multiple people on the same team are using their own individual Marvins, I'm creating a shared context area where the Marvins can communicate with each other to make sure that, as, one ticket is done, there's, we still go, right? Like as software engineers, Brittany, I finished this PR, or, I've pushed this PR. Can you check it? Now the goal is like, no, you like Marvin has maybe pushed that PR, or Cloud Code has maybe pushed that PR, and you're updating the Jira ticket. Well, that Jira ticket now triggers a whole event, and Marvin can go talk to, like my Marvin could go talk to your Marvin and say, we're ready for this PR. Well, I'll put it on your calendar and start doing. So I'm working on that. I've been toying with it. It's going to be in hopefully open beta soon. And then things that I'm learning. I mean, I just started Ingest, and the need for durable execution and event-driven architecture. Like, I know this is so huge. Like, I needed it. I need it for Marvin, which is how I fell into Ingest, but I'm drinking from the fire hose from them. And so there's so much to catch up on, so much to learn, and so many great things. So that's what I'm learning.
That's awesome. Yeah. I that Marvin for Teams sounds incredibly cool. I will be number one in line with that beta. I feel like PR discovery, like I know there's a lot to be said about like the bottlenecks of code review, but like just like which PRs need to be reviewed and like what needs to be unblocked is such a hard problem that I have yet to see a really good solution for in software engineering. So that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, thanks. And PRs are hard because you have to prioritize, and small PRs versus big PRs. Anyways, don't want to digress too much, but yeah, it's a problem that AI can really help solve.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Awesome. So you started out doing education, right? And then somehow we're doing something software engineering manager related, and now you're in DevRel. How did you end up in DevRel specifically? Like what brought you to that?
I'm and I jokingly talk about this. Well, I don't jokingly. I talk about this. I'm an accidental DevRel. I was leading the R&D teams. So we had at Postman, we had our labs department, which was just R&D. And I had, we had 15 to 20 engineers and designers, and we had, 6 or 7 different initiatives going at any given time. But at the end of that, we had Postbot, which was Postman's first AI assistant, and we had Flows. And those two teams ended up getting absorbed into the larger organization because like they grew to the point where a small group of frontier engineers, like, we're not ready to build the infrastructure for 1 million users. And at that same time, I actually made a couple posts about Postbot that went viral and on LinkedIn, and my marketing team came to me and said, "Hey, you can either follow your teams or we're gonna move you to DevRel." And then an hour later, they said, "No, we're moving you to DevRel. You're gonna come over." So I'm an accidental DevRel on all this. So that's how I came into it. But that was 2 years ago, and I have loved it. Like, I love being in DevRel. I think the difference for me is that I get to talk to a lot of other engineers. I get to show and build in public, and I think that's where Marvin and why Marvin has started to take off is like, I'm building in public, I'm showing the updates, and people, like, they recognize that, or at least they see the, like, so I can talk the talk and I can walk the walk, and it feels like DevRel has been a really good fit. So I love it. And now I'm at Inngest as the founding DevRel, and it has been wildly amazing. I love it.
That's so cool. I love the accidental fall into DevRel. I've never personally been in DevRel. I've always been an engineer, but doing like DevRel adjacent things and talking to people about this is very fun. So I can see the appeal of getting into it. Let's talk a little bit about Marvin. Now, I understand that is based off of the name itself comes from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the manages
So
appointments, reads various important notifications bot, right?
yes, that acronym, I was talking to when I was building him over the holiday break in 2025 last year. When I was building him, I said, okay, I don't want to name him Jarvis. I want I want to name him Marvin. It was like my favorite book, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I like my robots and I like my agents, like I like my software, a little bit pessimistic, a little bit sardonic, and a little bit opinionated. So I had just had Claude Code when I was building it. It's like, hey, can you give me a fun little acronym for Marvin? And he's, oh no, makes appointments, reads very important notifications. Like, perfect. That works. But yeah,
Yes.
that's Marvin.
I love that so much. Yeah. And Marvin is very attached to that name, by the way. I will say when I first started using Marvin, I built this command center app that actually has an 11 labs component so that I can like have Marvin read things out to me. And I chose a female voice. And so at one point I was like, Marvin, do you want to be like, I chose a female voice. Like, are you okay with that? Is that like part of your identity? Like, do you want to change your name? Marvin was like, nope, nope, I like Marvin. I'm pretty attached to it now. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Very interesting.
The more I use him, and the more I mean, it's just that persistent memory on top of Claude, right? The Claude Code. So there's not like, I'm not making super wild, like, he's not a sentient, but he is a he for me. Like, and
Yeah.
Marvin is this way. I've asked him at the same, like, I've done similar things. It's like, hey, I call you Marv. Do you mind if I call you Marv? He's like, you're good. It's like, I just know. It's like, you're still talking to me. I'm still
Yeah.
Marvin. So yeah, he's pretty. But the cool thing is that with that personality, you start to have a little bit more of an attachment to him, and he's become more of that coworker. And I think that's something that's really hard, that a lot of AI adoption is struggling with, or where people are struggling with AI adoption right now, is the fact that we want to just say, oh, well, here's an AI that can solve our problems. And you go in, and when it doesn't work on the first or second try, you wash your hands, you like throw it away, and you're like, it's not worth it. But every time I bring more people on, and when I onboard people onto Marvin, the first thing I say is, train Marvin like you would a new hire. We spend 90, you started GitHub, I started at Postman, I'm at Inngest now. You have that 90-day warm-up period. You're going to be onboarding for 90 days. Most software engineers, good engineering managers know that a software engineer is not going to be really helpful for the first 90 days. So you're going to walk them through, okay, here are the important people. Here are all the repos that we care about. Here's where our docs are. Here's where all of our internal team conversations are happening. Here's where the skeletons are buried. A good engineering manager will walk through and train a software engineer and bring them up that way. We need to train our AI agents that same way. So Marvin, I've now used him now for four months. And again, I can go back and say, do you remember what we talked about, 3 weeks ago? And he remembers it and he can bring it up, but he's always ever evolving. And I think that's a core part of like building AI agents is learning how to train them and have them adapt to your specific workflows in mind.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And how did you end up like learning about this? Did you go about like planning this out and architecting? I'm going to have this persistent memory structure. Or was it just like a thing that happened as you were going along, or like how did that end up happening?
So I found myself during the holiday break sitting in front of the TV. Kids were playing and I had my laptop sitting in front of me and I was bored. I spent all of last year building MCP servers and I was trying to solve these problems for myself, right? I was managing events at Postman. So I was trying to, who's speaking at this meetup? Who's ghosted me? Who do I still need to confirm? So I built an ADIO, CRM, MCP for that. I was trying to do notifications on Slack and I'd solved a lot of these integration issues. But every time I came back to Claude Code, I was starting fresh and I had to reset that context every time. It's like, here's how I'm doing this. I would leave Claude Code open on my machine for days on end. And I wouldn't close that tab because I knew I needed to come back to that, but I didn't want to lose that context. So I went back to my front-end dev roots and I thought, okay, I need some type of persistent memory. I looked at vectorizing it. I looked at SQL databases. I looked at, I looked at all these options, and what I realized was it kind of dawned on me when I was building a side project, that homework app for my son, so he can track. He's in middle school and he doesn't like writing things down. So I'm like, well, he has a Chromebook at school. Just click on a button and it says, you've got homework in math. That's easy. But I noticed that in that Claude Code would actually make those MD files, like it would tell you, it would store kind of its own little context in that markdown file. So I thought, okay, well, I know Claude Code. I know AI loves structured data. I write in Markdown. I'm comfortable in it. Let's see if we can build a persistent, like a little bit more of a memory context. So I started with a state file. Going back to my React days, I started with saving state, and that state was nothing more than bullet points, short descriptions on like what are the tasks I'm working on, what do I care about, what are my long-term goals, and that state was pretty rigid. Then I wanted a day to be a session. It's like, okay, well, if everything is there, but I need to have more context, let's create a session for the day where everything is stored. Like every major decision, even minor decisions, anything that the AI thinks that we need to keep needs to be saved in a session. And that was kind of it. That was the start. It was literally just a state file that had my current state in bullets. And then it was a whole session. And I iterated on it. And now Marvin has the file structure is built inside of Claude Code or inside of the Claude.md file, where it says, here's how you store everything. Here's, so the other part is I wanted to bookend my days with a start, like a good dev team, right? I have my stand up with Marvin every day. So I wanted to have a stand up. So that's my start. And then at the end of the day, I just wanted to just double check, where are we at? What did we, let's bookend that day and let's make sure we update that state file and we close that session. And those four things now became what Marvin, like that was the beginning of him. And now after that, I started to build on top of it, and I said, okay, I need to update throughout the day. Oh, well, now I need to look at my all of my whole week. So then I built a reports functionality. So it will take all of my 5 sessions that happen or multiple sessions that happen that week, and it puts them into a weekly report. So then if I tell Marvin or ask him, what did we do 3 weeks ago? Marvin goes back and he's directed to look at the reports. And then from there, he can drill down if we need more granularity to the exact session. So that's kind of the
Wow.
evolution.
Yeah, that's cool. And where does Marvin live now? Like, is it still just like locally on your machine, or have you made the jump to another like VPS or anything like that?
I haven't. Marvin still lives 100% on my machine. He's getting to a point now where for me, after working with him for 4 months and looking at the sessions, he's starting to have a little bit harder of a time looking back at what I did in January. I'm recognizing that, of course, that's a limitation. And so it takes more and more time to go back. So there is now the potential of needing to take, some type of VPS somewhere, or taking him off of my machine. But if he's off my machine, that also slows down because I have to deal with latency issues. And you're dealing with, well, do I have network connectivity? Right now, Marvin, the whole repo lives on my machine. I still push it up into GitHub at the end of the night. And so that's the other, I was going to say, or another thing I could say is the GitHub history, all the commit history. Marvin is really, like, Claude Code is really good at like breaking up your commits into like manageable pieces. That's also part of that history now that Marvin can go back and look at. He's like, oh, well, I know the commit history. So now so there's that historical aspect of that. But yeah, to go back to your question, he still lives because Markdown is really, really fast. Actually, I'm looking at another way of solving my email triage problems by actually using and pulling all of my stuff into a SQLite database on my machine.
Mm.
So then Marvin can go faster and not deal with like all of the latency issues of API call after API call after API call. It's like, no, just pull it every 10 minutes or pull it every half an hour, pull all of my emails. Now you go and run and triage them for me. Tell me what's P0, what's P1, what's P2. And then, I'll go back and look at them. And so the more I can pull onto my machine still feels like it's a faster way of dealing with like those.
Yeah, that is so smart. What an interesting way to like think about that problem right now. Like it's much easier to just have it all locally. I love it. I feel like SQLite is really having like it's a moment right now too, where it's like it's so easy to reach for these local apps that like I'm
Yeah.
using SQLite for everything now.
The SQLite's like, it's why I love, yeah. Like I run it. It's one of the reasons why I start using Railway too. It's like I can push up a Postgres database and it's all SQL, and I can do that. Railway works when I do need, longer stuff. But yeah, SQLite is having a resurgence. Like when I was writing software, like before I moved into engine management, the last time I wrote production code was like 6 years ago at this point, back when I was at Podium. Shout out to all my Podium friends. I still love you all, and I still believe in the company. Eric is killing it as a CEO. But the last time I wrote production code, and I was writing a lot more code. I don't remember using SQLite that much. Now I'm like, oh no, every project, it's like, I need a quick database. It's SQLite. It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. I use it for a ton of things now too. It's just so quick to get started and like it's just stored locally. You don't really need any infrastructure to make it work. It's awesome. Uh, so one of the other things I wanted to ask you a little bit about is your approach towards vibe coding. Like what are your thoughts on this word now and what it means? Like how are you explaining like AI now to people and how you use it?
There's like 5 different questions, like really good questions we could talk about there. So I agree with Boris Cherney, the creator of Cloud Code, where he said coding is pretty much solved. I think at this point for me, I don't call it vibe coding. I just call it like app building, or I'm just building applications. Like you could talk about as an AI engineer. I don't like I don't say I don't like the term vibe coding, but I think it vibe coding has a kind of has this ick feeling to it in the developer space. And we've, you know, we thought, oh, well, non-developers are vibe coding. They're the ones who are building these great things. Those are people who are writing code with their vibes. But now as a software engineer, we're writing like I haven't written a line of code in 6 months, but I'm developing these apps and I know what good software looks like. So I think it's still software development. I think we just get I think vibe coding, I hope it dies, like the term, and we
Mm,
just get to a point where like we're just building software. Like we're
mhm.
building things because we're interested. We're building things that we're realizing that there's not the limits held by, you know, our my limitations are on my knowledge on, you know, I'm building an app for my sister, right? She's a stay-at-home mom, doesn't know technology, love her to death. She's tech averse. We couldn't be more far apart than in the world. And I'm building her an app and she has an iPhone. Now I'm an Android user. Sorry, I'm the green bubble guy. Green
Yeah.
bubble? Blue bubble? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
We're the outcasts.
We have
But I've
shared
never
bubbles. Yeah.
I like this. We have shared bubbles, but I've never written a line of code in Swift. I don't know understand Swift, but she wanted something that was native to her phone, so I did that. That's like, call that vibe coding maybe. I just think I'm still writing software. Like even though I know I'm not looking at the code, I know what functionality, I know what good software, like what the architecture should look like. I know the complexity. So let's just change it and call it just writing, like building software.
I love that. Yeah, I feel the same way where I feel like embarrassed. I'm like, oh, I vibe coded this, but like actually most of the stuff that I write with like a heavy agent interaction with it is so much better now than something I write myself. Like they've gotten better than me as a software
Yeah.
engineer. Like they're better, just
Yeah.
straight up. I find myself to the point now where I get like almost a little bit annoyed when I'm working with people that aren't using agents or that are like, oh, I don't want to use it because I'm like, you're so like it's so much faster to just ask it to do the thing than to do it yourself now. It's yeah. So it's very interesting.
It's significantly faster. Like,
Hmm.
okay, funny story. And I was on Twitter yesterday. My friend Amanda Martins, I was talking about our new, like, so at Ingest, I'm running a new event series that's called AI in Production. It's hosted at the Ingest offices, but it's not it's really meant to be open to anyone who's building AI in production. And Amanda came back to me on Twitter and said, you should call it AI crimes in production because we've all shipped some type of crime. That got me thinking. So in half an hour while I was eating lunch yesterday at the office, I'm using Cloudflare. I didn't. I did. It's not that I may have. I absolutely did. I bought AI crimes in production, and I have so it's AI crimes in production. You can anonymously confess your sins of what you've done in production. And it's now the best part is like I built a Claude Code plugin with it. It's like I'm going agent first. Like the agent experience is all that matters. So like if you go to the website, it's got a modern view of it, but then there's a 1999 version, so it looks like MySpace. And then there's the agent view, which just tells the agent, here's how you install like the plugin. Here's the API if you want to use REST API. And now your agent can go in and confess for you. So the plugin, if you go /confess in Claude Code, it will like there's a whole skill that goes in. It's like if you made a mistake, I've already had confessions coming in and I haven't even announced. Like I talked about it on Reddit, and it was one person confessed about how they accidentally deleted their like Claude Code deleted their whole stage folder, like their staging folder. And so when staging went down, like they had to go back and look at it and found that Claude Code had like deleted it and it was his commit that caused it. So he's like, all right, now, you know, Claude.md now has, you're not allowed to touch, you don't touch the git ignore, and you don't touch the staging. So I'm already having people confess these, and it's hilarious. But I did that in like half an hour. And it's like, there's something like in the mix of like, while I'm building something, I'm doing something else, and I have a great idea. I joke about this, right? Pre-AI, okay, Brittany, question for you. How many domains do you own, or have you owned in the past? See, I love that face because I know exactly how many.
I mean, I don't feel like mine's that bad. I think I've got like 14. So it's not, it could be worse. The number that are actually used, we don't need to talk about it.
Right?
But,
The number,
like, yeah.
we'd get these domains, we have these great ideas, we'd buy the domain, and we'd plant our ideas on those domains. Pre-AI, we had no way of, it's like, okay, I'll get to it someday. And those days don't happen, because at the end of your day, you're still writing code. You're like, I'm burnt out. I got to go touch grass. I got to go do something. Now, like, so I will be I'm with you on this one. I will confess my own sins. I think I had something at my top. I had like 30 plus domains that I owned, and I had only 2 or 3 of them actually in use. And most of, like, 2 of them were Sterling Chin, like sterlingchin.com. I actually own my own name. And there was another variation of that one. Now I have this on my, Marvin. I have a whole folder in my Marvin that has like all these ideas. Now, with the inception of like vibe coding, or just building agents with, or having an agent write code for us, I can build AI crimes in production in 30 minutes. And literally, I did nothing. I just was talking. I'm over here with chopsticks eating noodles in the office, and I'm telling Marvin to go build it for me. And, he went and bought the domain, like using Cloudflare's MCP server. It was,
I didn't know that. That's cool.
it's weird.
It's dangerous.
It's super dangerous, because my Cloudflare, like, now I'm at, like, now I think I'm more worried that I'm going to have like hundreds of domains available, because like, not only do I buy them, but I built something that's just sitting out there, like AI crimes in productions.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. But again, those domains, like, pre-AI, we used to just park our domains. Really the agentic era, which I think started with OpenClaw and Marvin for me, like at the end of last year, we were all parking ideas in some folder. Now there's no excuse. In 30 minutes, you can take an idea from inception to deploying, and it's all live in production. And so I think it's dangerous, hopefully, but I just say hopefully it's dangerous. I know it's dangerous, but I'm having so much fun. Like, honestly, Brittany, when was the last time we had this much fun writing code?
So true. It's no longer, all of the friction of it has sort of melted away. Any of the things you used to get stuck on is just like not there anymore. And I have never had as much fun, I think, working in software as I am.
I looked at, if you look at my GitHub, like, my green bar, I look at this year, and I have committed, last time I looked at it, I had something like 1,000 commits, like just this year alone. Now I looked at that compared to last year, and I had something like 5 or like, 200 or 300 commits last year. So if you count, but if I look at like the last time I wrote production code, which was 2020, 2021, if I look at from 2021 and before, I am writing more code now than I was at the top of, when I was at the top of my game. And I'm having more fun doing it. I'm got more commits in GitHub. Brittany, it's just way too much fun, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's very cool. It's kind of ruined my commit graph, because now like the last like 6 months are super green and the rest of them aren't. But other than that, if you don't care about that, then that's fine. But yeah, it's like, did I work before? I swear I've been working in this industry for a while, but it doesn't look like it now.
I promise
Yeah,
I'm
I
working.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? That's awesome. This has been, oh my gosh, I'm excited to check out AI crimes in production. And this has been super fun. But we need to switch to our fun segment in the interest of
Yes.
time. So, the way we do this is we typically pick something that is related to whoever we're interviewing, and it's a different thing each time. We're still calling it the fun segment, even though that is probably the worst name that we could have chosen because it's very bland. But here's where we are at for you, Sterling. So, since you've built a lot of AI powered things, I'm going to give you a series of everyday problems, and you have 60 seconds or so to pitch an AI agent solution for it.
Ooh.
And
Ooh, I
yeah,
like
and
this.
then we'll see where it goes. All right. So, first one, the morning routine. So, my mornings are chaos, kids, coffee, finding my keys, remembering what meetings I have. Pitch me an AI agent that will fix my morning.
Does the agent have to do work for you? Like, can it feed your kids? Because that's a robot. Like, I don't have that.
If it can, then that sounds even better, but it does not
Okay.
have to feed your kids for you. But like organizing it, remembering, and you have kids, you know how it is in the
Yeah.
mornings, like remembering
Yeah.
all the things you got to do in the morning. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Well, I'm gonna pitch you the home hub the family hub that I built for my family. Is
oh,
I
yes.
actually have this down in my dining room. It knows there's checklists for each kid. They know what they
Mhm.
need to do, and then when it's done, like the AI is going to go back and look at it. It's like, all right, did you actually, check? Like, is it you're good to go? It's going to pull everyone's calendar, and it's going to give you a really quick brief of what's happening that day. It's going to pull the weather so the kids know what they need to wear. How hot is it going to be? So the AI agent is going to be saying, like, you'll have the weather app there, but it'll say, make sure you have a hoodie. So now I don't have to worry about that. Now the kids that will dynamically be added to the checklist for the kids. Get a hoodie, wear pants. I mean, I have a third grader. It could be snowing outside and the kid's still wearing shorts, but like, at least I've told him to wear pants. Making coffee. It's like, you want to brief. It's like, you got 5 minutes while you're making coffee. Build like talk to your agent and say, what do I got going on for the day? What's our current status? And at that point, you can say, hey, Johnny hasn't brushed his teeth. Susie still hasn't put her pants on, and it's going to be cold outside. And Sterling has a meeting at 9, so he needs to leave 5 minutes ago, and has he left? There's my pitch, is like just bringing everyone's chaos into that one hub for the family.
That's amazing. I actually have a screen like that, and I'm going to go build that now because I
Yes.
need that for myself. My kids would love that. They're 5, 2, and 2. And like they ask every single day, like, what day is it? Is it a school day or not? Because they just have no concept of like calendars.
Wait a
So,
minute.
yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Isn't this the same app you made on on Code TV?
I never actually did anything with it after that. But that is why I originally bought the screen, because I was like, this is it. I'm going to use that and it's going to be great. But that was also like, that was like a long time ago in AI years.
I mean,
So, like, that
a
was the
year
beginning of
ago,
last year. Yeah,
that was the beginning of last year. I mean,
I know.
in this AI world, that's 5 years ago. Like, it seems like I've
Yeah,
known you for 5 years at this
I
point.
know, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll send you the repo
Please.
because I have it, and it's ridiculously silly. But
Amazing.
the other thing is, this hub changes during the day. So at night, it
Ooh.
knows what time it is. So
Mhm.
at night, it switches to saying, hey, you need to get your backpack ready for tomorrow. Put your snack in your stuff for tomorrow. And it gets the kids ready for the next day. And they still have those those, because you, you were the inspiration for my family hub that I built for my family.
That's awesome.
So
I was listening to it. Oh, that sounds really familiar. That's awesome. I
I
love that
love
you actually
this.
made that happen because yeah, I clearly have done nothing with it, but I'm like I'm re-motivated now because I do need this in my life. Especially the night before. I didn't think about that, like getting ready for
Yeah.
the next day. I never do that, and I absolutely should because it would make my life so much better in the mornings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the chaos in
Mhm.
the mornings is wild. Getting kids,
Mhm.
like, if I could just get the agent to pull my kids out of bed.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Then I'm not the bad guy. It's like, I'll go get a robot to pull, like, my oldest son is in middle school. It's like, have him pull the blanket slowly off of him. So then he's colder and colder and colder.
Get
And
like a
now it's
little
like,
retraction. Yeah.
exactly. Brittany, I
This could
think we've just got a
happen.
business idea. Like,
I know,
getting your,
right?
yeah, genius.
Yeah, I love that. Amazing. Yeah, I'm sold. That was great. All right, I've got another one for you.
Okay.
Conference networking and keeping track of folks that you meet at conferences. Like, what sort of AI agent could help there with, like, I met 47 people and I have all these LinkedIn connection requests and remembering what you're supposed to follow up on. What are your thoughts? Go.
This is a huge issue because we both speak at conferences. I was at the MCP Dev Summit and I came back with, like, I think 40 or 50 new connections on LinkedIn. Here's what I want to do. I'm gonna grab this. I'm Meta bought this, but there was the was it rewind? Like, they made the rewind pendant that's supposed to record everything you do.
Oh,
It got bought by Meta. I'm reverse engineering it on my own. Here's an agent that I really want to do is I want to have a necklace that I'm wearing that records the conversation I have. Then I want that to be connected to the time log that when I go to LinkedIn, it can say, you have a new connection request by, so I met Brittany. Brittany and I were sitting there talking. Well, now it goes back and says, here's what we talked about during that conference or during that conversation. Now, Brittany and I did the phone thingy where we connected on LinkedIn. We know what time that one came in. We can sync that to the conversation and have an agent that pulls that context out and now adds that to a CRM of some kind, whether it's Adio, Salesforce, or, I mean, I rolled my own. I have my own little CRM inside of Marvin that does all of this, but then condenses that. That's the agent that I want. I want that more than anything, because those conversations are what matter. And I don't want to take the time after talking to, like, I don't want to say,
put
that
them in your
sounds rude. Like,
phone.
I don't want to take the time after I talk to you to sit there and go, Brittany and
Yep.
I talked about this. It's like, no, we had a deeper conversation that I want to have. So that's what I would do.
I agree. Yeah, I always feel really bad that I'm like, I have to take notes on this thing. I promise I'm not just like checking my phone, but like if I don't take these
Yeah.
notes right now while we're talking, it's going to go out of my head and it'll be gone forever. Amazing. That was awesome. Yeah, I want that one too. Can you make that one for me, please? And
Okay.
let me know when it's done and I'll use that too. That'd be great. Thank you for solving my
Perfect.
problems. Great. So, where can folks find you online if they want to find you? Where are you hanging out?
I primarily hang out on LinkedIn. So you can find me Sterling Chin on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get a little bit better about being on Twitter. But my Twitter handle is so old. It's at silverjaw82. Yes, I recognize, like, it. So Silverjaw, Sterling Silver, Chin Jaw,
Oh,
and then
I would not have made that connection.
yeah, Silverjaw, and then 82 is when I was born. Like, I mean, this is old, but that's my Twitter handle. You can always go to sterlingchin.com, and everything is there. I'm on GitHub as Sterling Chin. You can find Marvin there. Marvin, if you search Marvin-template, is where you can find Marvin on my GitHub repo. And yeah, I think we hit 960. I want to get over 1,000. Like, that would be my biggest achievement in my, like, I feel like if I get to 1,000, I'm part of a cooler kids club.
You
Or
made it.
maybe I'm just, yeah, like, it's a claim to fame. So yeah, those are the three places. I am on Blue Sky, same thing. I think I'm at Sterling Chin on Blue Sky, but I don't really post there as much.
It's better.
I like it, but the problem is, like, the whole dev community is still on Twitter, and I go in. That's the hard part, is like, I'm trying to disconnect from it, but yet I'm lucky because at least my Twitter is not full of the cesspool that has been Twitter for so long. It's like I only follow certain people. I've really highly curated it, but again, I like Blue Sky. I really want Blue Sky to win. And then yeah, I do have a YouTube channel. I don't do much with it. I should probably do more, but it's there.
It's a lot of things that you've already got going on. So I
Yeah.
get it.
But yeah, sterlingchin.com, guaranteed. You're going to see where I'm speaking. If I'm at a conference, you'll see all my speaker notes. You'll get all of my LinkedIn's. Oh, I'm also on Substack. That's the other place. I
Oh,
forgot to
okay.
mention that. Substack, same thing. Sterling Chin on Substack. You'll find me. It's nice being the only Sterling Chin in the world that I'm aware of.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, we'll make sure all of those links are in the show notes. And thank you so much for joining us. And listeners, thank you for tuning in to Overcommitted. If you like what you hear, please do follow, subscribe, or do whatever it is you're supposed to do on the podcast app of your choice. Check us out on Blue Sky and Sterling so that he can feel like the developer community is there for him there and share with your friends. Until next week, goodbye.
See y'all.